That's what I thought.
If I can have your attention, I will call to order this Washington County Board of Supervisors meeting for April 15th, 2022. And ask if Supervisor Claire will lead us in prayer, please.
Dear Father, we thank you on the many aspects of the spring season. It includes the mud, the flowers, and the variety of temps. This replicates living, the ups and downs, the trials and tribulations, yet always at the end of the day, the hope and belief and the excitement for a rebirth. We thank you and we look forward. Amen.
Amen. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. In case of fire or other emergency, the three exits of the room, there, and there. In case of emergency, please exit the room, find your staircase, go down the staircase, and get yourself as far away from the building as possible so rescue squad and emergency squads can do their job. If you need assistance in getting down the stairs or getting out of the building, please contact someone to help you out. Thank you, and please silence your cell phones for this meeting. Thank you. Thank you, Supervisor O'Brien. We will now do the roll call.
Mr. Hankey.
Here.
Mrs. Spedler.
I'm here.
Mr. Ferguson.
Here.
Mr. Shaw.
Here.
Mr. Hall.
Here.
Mr. Fisher.
Here.
Mr. Hicks.
Here.
Mr. Nolan.
Here.
Mr. O'Brien.
Here.
Mr. Half.
He's here waving. He's here.
Mr. Campbell. Mr. Skelly.
Here.
Mr. Hogan.
Here.
Mr. Wilson.
Here.
Mrs. Clary. Here. Mr. Griffith.
Here.
Mr. Rosell.
Here. We have a quorum. All right, at this point in time, we have a presentation to make. Could I ask for Glenn Gosnell, Tim Hardy, and our special guest here, Mr. Bruce Mason, to come forward, please? This is a Bruce Mesa Service Recognition Award. Earlier this month at the Adirondack Thunder's Hockey's First Responder Night, our own EMS coordinator, Bruce Mason, was honored for 50 years of dedicated service in emergency medical services in the 40th Rescue Squad. In addition to his time serving in the 40th Rescue Squad, Bruce has been a member of our Washington County Emergency Services Public Safety Team for the last 21 years, serving as a Deputy EMS Coordinator from 2001 to 2009, and serving in his current position of EMS Coordinator since April 2nd, 2009. We want to thank Bruce for his many years of dedicated service to the town of Fort Anne and Washington County communities as a whole. On behalf of all of us, we present you with this unique plaque recognizing your many years of dedicated service to the people of Washington County, the EMS and its first responder community, and the Department of Public Safety. Thank you, Bruce.
Thank you. Thank you, Bruce. Thank you all very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
And we have a proclamation here that's in your packets for the National Public Safety Telecommunications Week. And we'd like to request that, I believe we have some individuals coming up along with
Yes, sir. So the second full week in April is recognized nationwide as National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week. We are blessed to serve in a county in which our elected officials, county administrator, and other local officials have taken an active role in understanding the duties our public safety communications professionals are tasked with, the challenges they are faced with, and support our team and mission day in and day out. On the screen this morning, in place of my video feed, are the faces of the 18 men and women who served in our communications division of your Washington County Department of Public Safety. While these faces are some of the most rarely seen in public service, their voices are recognizable by many who have found themselves in need of their service. While our department serves many important functions throughout the county and every town and village, none are more critical than the services our 911 team provides to those in our communities and our first responder partners. We are appreciative of each and every one of them, their dedication and service to us all. On behalf of Director Gosnell and myself, we are proud to have some members of our team with us this morning at the board meeting to be presented with this year's National Telecommunicators Week proclamation on behalf of the board. I'd like to introduce the 4 staff members we have and ask them to go forward and meet with Chairman Wilson, Supervising Communications Officer Walt Simpson, Supervising Communications Officer Stephanie Williams, Communications Training Officer Regina Ladd, and Communications Officer Larry Sorda.
National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week, April 10th through the 16th, 2022. Whereas emergencies can occur at any time that require police, fire, or emergency medical services in Washington County. And whereas when an emergency occurs, the prompt response of our law enforcement, fire, and emergency medical personnel is critical to the protection of life and preservation of property. And whereas the safety of our first responders is dependent upon the quality and accuracy of information obtained from citizens who call our Washington County Department of Public Safety Communications Center. And whereas our public safety communication professionals are the first and most critical contact our citizens have with emergency services. And whereas our public safety communications professionals are the single vital link for first responders by monitoring their activities by radio, providing them information, and ensuring their safety. And whereas our public safety communications professionals of the Washington County Department of Public Safety have contributed substantially to the apprehension of criminals, suppression of fires, and treatment of patients, and whereas each of our communications professionals have exhibited compassion, understanding, and professionalism during the performance of their job in the past year, therefore be it resolved that the Board of Supervisors of Washington County declares the week of April 10th through 16th, 2022 to be National Public Safety Telecommunications Week in honor of our men and women whose diligence and professionalism keep our country, citizens, our county, citizens, and first responders safe.
Next on our list of presentations, we have with us today Michael Hoy, the State Commander of the New York State VFW's Veterans of Foreign War. Mike, if you'd like to come forward, please. Ken, would you like to join him?
Good morning. As Sam said, my name is Michael Hoy. I have the distinct honor of being the commander of the Veterans of Foreign Wars for the Department of New York. To my knowledge, I'm one of the first. I live in Sullivan's Falls, and my post is in Glens Falls, post 2475, and I believe that I'm the first commander from this Warren County, Saratoga County, Washington County era. I wanted to take a moment to recognize the efforts of Washington County veteran service officers. In my career, basically my whole life, I've had government service through serving in the Army, the Postal Service, and now the VFW. There really is, in my view, a very probably one-sided view. The debt that we owe our veterans is unsurmountable. For people who maybe believe that people can go off to war and see and experience the effects of that war, and they don't have any after effects, are maybe only fooling themselves. Even our veterans often have problems recognizing that they're having problems, and they have hard time knowing how to deal with those problems. So it's, in Washington County, it has a history of wonderful service officers. I'm trying to remember all of them today, but I know Robert Temple comes to mind, Emerkowski, I hope I pronounced his name wrong, your own Sam Hall, Andy DiPaolo, and now we have Ken Winchell and Mike Alexander as your veteran service officers. I want to point out, which I'm sure all of you supervisors are aware of, this is the type of a service that comes back into your community many, many times over. A veteran today files a claim through any service officer and is awarded, say, 100%. That's over $3,000 a month coming into that veteran and their family. While that in itself is tax-free, that money is spent back in our communities. And even though I live in Saratoga County, my post is in Warren County, I'm in Washington County, we all know how much we interact with each other. And those dollars are being spent within your communities, and it's a very important revenue source. So it comes back in sales tax from that money spent. So please continue, I'm sure you will, to your efforts to assist our veterans. I got a chance to speak to Ken for a while and how busy he's with veterans claims and getting out there. He tells me sometimes he goes to people's homes to help them fill out paperwork, or especially elderly veterans' wives and et cetera. So an appreciation for I would like to present Washington County, appreciation to Washington County, New York for outstanding service to veterans. Signed by me as Department Commander and Robert Mitchell, our Department Adjutant. It's just a certificate of appreciation.
Well, Commander, this is just like Christmas, because we also have a proclamation for you, for those members of the VFW, the Veterans of Foreign War, specifically, more specific, the Vietnam Veterans of America, who are members of your organization. And we have that proclamation, which Deb's going to read here for us.
Honoring National Vietnam Veterans Day. Whereas in 2012, President Obama signed a presidential proclamation designating March 29 as the annual observance of Vietnam War Veterans Day. And whereas the Vietnam War Veterans Recognition Act of 2017 was signed into law by President Trump, designating every March 29th as National Vietnam War Veterans Day. And whereas March 29th was chosen to be observed as National Vietnam War Veterans Day because March 29th, 1973, was when the last U.S. combat troops departed Vietnam, and also on and about that same day, Hanoi released the last of its acknowledged prisoners of war. And whereas during the Vietnam War, more than 58,000 Americans were killed and many thousands were wounded and injured or missing in action, and whereas the men and women who were asked to serve, whether they volunteered or were drafted, answered the call, and whereas upon their return home were blamed for a war they did not start, ridiculed when they should have been celebrated, and many never thanked for their service. And whereas the National Vietnam War Veterans Day was established to honor the Vietnam War veterans for their service and sacrifice and show them the respect and dignity they deserve. Now therefore be it resolved that the Washington County Board of Supervisors joins with others in commemorating National Vietnam War Veterans Day and would like to extend their gratitude to the Vietnam War veterans and their families, and remember all those who served yet are no longer with us for their selfless service and sacrifices to our great nation.
Thank you, Deb.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Commander. Okay, so on the next part of our agenda items, we have something that at least these three people have been waiting for a long period of time, and that's a thing called retirement. And I'm going to do these presentations, and I would like Sue Clary, the chairwoman of our Human Services Committee, to come forward, please. And the first one I'm going to call up would be Karen Baker, please. Karen, would you come forward? Karen has worked for social services from February of 2022. She's going to retire, and that was for 30 years and 6 months of service that she has before him. She's worked through many different programs down there and has helped in the management field put the DSS department on a solid ground. And Karen, I want to thank you for your years of service and dedication to this agency and the residents of Washington County. Right here, we have another one that falls under your committee, and that's Linda LaRock from Public Health. Linda's retired on January of 2022 after 27 years of service. And Linda was very instrumental in the points of distribution that we did at the different clinics. Really used her expertise throughout this pandemic, but she's been a solid member of the public health team for 27 years, so we want to thank her for that. And then, if I could ask Jake to come up. Jay's Chairperson of the Department of Public Works. And this next one, Joe Brewing. Joe, can we ask you to come forward, please? And Joe has been with the sewer district for 12 years and 1 month. And we've seen many significant changes since Joe has been involved down there. And we appreciate all your efforts, Joe. And I know the sewer district does as well. Thank you very much for your service. And we certainly would like to recognize each and other of you again with a round of applause and thank you for your years of service and wish you happiness and good health in your retirement. So thank you. Which brings us to the condensed minutes. The condensed minutes from the March 18th, 2022 minute are accepted as mailed unless there are any additions or any corrections. Do we have any additions or any corrections? Seeing none there, seeing none on Zoom, then we will assume that they are accepted. Thank you. Communications.
No communications this month.
Okay. Tim Hardy, would you do the report, please, for the COVID?
Good morning again, everybody. Just a quick rundown of where we are currently. 62 active COVID-19 positive cases in the county. Those are those being reported through PCR channels, through official channels, through labs, and our at-home reporting system. 2 active hospitalizations, and our deaths have stayed at 86 as of late. Just a couple of new updates. So we started, or Public Health started doing the next round of boosters for anybody who's eligible. All the details for eligibility relative to boosters has been posted on our website, is on the State Department of Health website. The boosters are being given, and that's initial vaccination boosters, second, third, or fourth doses, whatever you're eligible for, on Wednesdays from 2 to 4 at Public Health. All you have to do is call ahead and make an appointment. They will get you in as soon as they possibly can. PCR testing is still also being conducted at Public Health Tuesdays and Thursdays. Call ahead, make your appointment. They'll get you in and out within 15 minutes. It's moving very smoothly. So Public Health is still very committed to responding to the COVID-19 pandemic and helping our communities stay and move forward throughout this. And as of right now, we remain in the low category under the CDC community guidelines and regulations. Other than that, we're just monitoring the local cases. We do see a little bit of concern since the last period of reporting last week that we've jumped 20-plus cases in a week. Certainly it's reflective to what we're seeing across the greater community area, and certainly state cases are rising statewide. Other than that, sir, nothing to report.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions of Tim? Your report? Seeing none here, and seeing no hands up on Zoom, we will move forward. Thank you, Tim. Committee reports, audit report.
So, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to move the audit report and ask that the board adopt it and resolve that authorize the county treasurer to pay the bills.
Very good. Supervisor O'Brien moves it forward. Do we have a second? Supervisor Griffith, Supervisor Clary, Supervisor Fedler, Supervisor Rozell. Is there any discussion? Supervisor Nolan also is a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Now we have proclamations. These proclamations have already been presented, and they're in your package here for today, which you've already probably had the opportunity to review. So we'll move on to supervisor's privilege of the floor. Do we have any supervisor's privilege of the floor?
Mr. Chairman, I would like, privilege of the floor. I have a resident, Mr. Michael Maturo, who lives on the, Jackson end of the Shushan Bridge. He would like to address the board on the replacement of the Shushan Bridge.
Okay, Michael, please step to the podium in the back if you would. No, we're going to use the one in the front, I'm sorry. That was moved back. Use the one in the front. And our privilege of the floor is 5 minutes. Thank you, sir.
Good morning, Supervisors. My name is Michael Maturo of 301 Sutherland Road in Shushan, and we do own the yellow house on the hill across from the Shushan Bridge. Thank you all, and especially to Supervisor Skelly for the opportunity to speak about the bridge replacement, and specifically our opposition to its lighting plan. Over the past 2 weeks, I and other concerned neighbors, we petitioned Shushan and the surrounding community, and on behalf of over 100 Shushan residents, most from the Shushan Lighting District, and a total of 165 petitioners, I respectfully ask that the county have the contractors remove the lights from the plan. The Salem Town Board, at its meeting this past Wednesday, also requested that the county forego the lights on the bridge over the Battenkill. The plan calls for 3 LED lights on a bridge that for 60 years has not had any. We tested a single similar bulb to get an estimate as to its intensity, and as I can show you in photos, it's unbearably bright for the surrounding properties. Most of the petitioners heard nothing about the lighting plan and were shocked to learn that it was even considered, for a variety of reasons, including using taxpayer dollars for something we never needed before, and the light pollution on the river affecting insects and wildlife and impacting the nighttime view around the bridge, even so far as from the Georgie. So like us, many want to keep our tiny town rural and avoid the feeling of the city. In fact, we repeatedly heard this is not Troy. They want to keep our night skies dark so we can see the stars. There's very little pedestrian traffic because there's nowhere to walk to. And if this is a safety concern, we believe there are other ways to address it. Whatever the resolution, it's clear that those in this beautiful hamlet want to keep our small town character and don't want to turn night into day. Please have Wind Construction remove the lights from the plan. Thank you. I also have the original of the petition that I can deliver to the clerk, and copies of the petitioners for everyone else if you'd like that.
Very good. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Cindy, is there anyone else waiting inside maybe? No, we're good there? Okay. Okay, seeing no one has anyone else here for the privilege of the floor, and there's nobody waiting online, let's move on to the introduction resolutions. And we'll need a motion to set aside the rules for resolution number 115 and 116.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, ayes? Ayes. Opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 115 by Supervisor Clary, title amend 2022 budget, public health for pharmacy-grade vaccine freezer. Resolved that the county treasurer is hereby authorized to make the following budget amendment. Increase and decrease appropriations, COVID-19 vaccine response funds, $2,850. Resolution number 116 by Supervisor Skelly, titled to award bid 2021-25, SD number 2 for unit price items, Washington County Sewer District concrete improvements. Resolved that bid 2021-25, SD number 2, Washington County Sewer District concrete improvements unit price items is hereby awarded to W.M. Schultz Construction, Inc. of Ballston Spa, New York, for the amount so stated, contingent upon EFC approval. And be it further resolved, the Chairman of the Board of Supervisors is hereby authorized to sign those documents necessary for this award in a form to be reviewed and approved by the county attorney.
Do we have a motion to move that forward? No?
We got to go back to the beginning.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I was reading the one that was. All right.
Ready?
All set.
Resolution number 103 by Supervisor Skelly, Rosell, Half, O'Brien, Fedler, Shaw, Ferguson, Wilson, Fisher, title, Appoint Commissioner to the Sewer District Board of Commissioners.
Mr. Chairman, moving resolution 103.
Moved by Supervisor Skelly. Do we have seconds? Supervisor Nolan, Supervisor Shaw, Supervisor O'Brien, Supervisor Fedler, Supervisor Ferguson. Have I missed anyone? Supervisor Fisher. Okay. Is there any discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 104 by Supervisor Skelly, Rosell, O'Brien, Fedler, Shaw, Ferguson, Wilson, Fisher, title, Appoint Superintendent of Public Works.
Mr. Chairman, moving resolution 104.
Moved by Supervisor Skelly. Do we have seconds? Supervisor Shaw, Supervisor Fisher, Supervisor O'Brien, Supervisor Hogan, Supervisor Wilson, Supervisor Rosell, Supervisor Nolan, Supervisor Ferguson, Supervisor Fedler. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Nay.
Oh, sorry, Dana, didn't see your hand. Apologize.
Nay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Resolution number 105 by Supervisor Skelly, Rosell, Half, O'Brien, Fedler, Shaw, Ferguson, Wilson, Fisher, title to award various Department of Public Works bids for 2022.
Moving resolution 105.
Moved by Supervisor Skelly. Do we have seconds?
Second.
Supervisor Rosell, Supervisor Fisher, Supervisor Shaw, Supervisor Nolan, Supervisor O'Brien, Supervisor Wilson. Is there any discussion? Supervisor Hankey had a second also. Is there any discussion? Supervisor Ferguson. Supervisor Half.
Which one?
You. Dana. Discussion.
Are any of these components to be used on the Shushan Bridge?
Yep. No.
There's
Deb, shake your
structural,
head. No, Dana.
so there's steel bridge materials, bridge rail material. None of those are for the Shushan Bridge?
Deb's on her way up to explain that now.
That would be for our bridge crew, this material. We filmed out the Shushan Bridge, which the contractor would buy his own materials, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I was.
Okay. Yeah, that's what Deb was going to say, is what Matt just said. Did you hear it, Dan, or no? I don't, okay.
So the answer is no, none of these will be on the Shushan Bridge?
Correct.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any further discussion? All in favor, signal by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 106 by Supervisors Wilson, Hogan, Half, Hicks, O'Brien, Clary, Rosell, title, authorizing execution of a memorandum of agreement with Warren County to provide raise-the age services.
Mr. Chairman, moving resolution 106.
Moved by Supervisor Wilson. Do we have any seconds? Supervisor Hogan, Supervisor Nolan, Supervisor Hankey, Supervisor Clary, Supervisor O'Brien, Supervisor Wilson, Supervisor Fedler, Supervisor Ferguson. Did I miss anyone? See no one else we've missed? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 107 by Supervisors Wilson, Hogan, Half, Hicks, O'Brien, Clary, Rosell, title, Accepting Rural Communities of Practice Phase 3 Grant, Youth Bureau Alternative Sentencing.
Mr. Chairman, moving resolution 107.
Moved by Supervisor Wilson. Seconds, please. Supervisor Nolan, Supervisor Hankey, Supervisor Clary, Supervisor O'Brien, Supervisor Fedler, Supervisor Ferguson, Supervisor Rosell. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 108 by Supervisors Campbell, O'Brien, Half, Hicks, Fedler, Skelly, Hogan, Clary, Rosell, Wilson, Griffith, title, amend 2022 budget, County Clerk.
Mr. Chairman, moving resolution number 108.
Moved by Supervisor O'Brien. Do we have any seconds? Supervisor Nolan, Supervisor Hankey, Supervisor Ferguson, Supervisor Clary, Supervisor Rosell, Supervisor Fedler, and Supervisor Griffith. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 109 by Supervisors Campbell, O'Brien, Half, Hicks, Fedler, Skelly, Hogan, Clary, Rosell, Wilson, Griffith, title, Amend 2022 tourism budget for 2022-2023 additional initiatives.
Do we have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, moving resolution number 109.
Moved by Supervisor O'Brien. Seconds, please.
Second.
Supervisor Wilson, Supervisor Nolan, Supervisor Hanky, Supervisor Clary, Supervisor Ferguson, Supervisor Fedler, Supervisor Rozell. Did I miss anyone? Seeing that we haven't, is there any discussion? Oh, Supervisor Griffith. Sorry, James. Is there any discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 110 by Supervisors Campbell, O'Brien, Half, Hicks, Fedler, Skelly, Hogan, Clary, Rozell, Wilson, Griffith. Title, Amend 2022 Planning Budget for Adirondack Regional Chamber of Commerce Membership.
Mr. Chairman, moving resolution number 110.
Moved by Supervisor O'Brien. Do we have seconds? Supervisor Hanky, Supervisor Clary, Supervisor Fedler, Supervisor Griffith, Supervisor Ferguson. Did I miss anyone? Doesn't appear that I did. Is there any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 111 by Supervisors Campbell, O'Brien, Half, Hicks, Fedler, Skelly, Hogan, Clary, Rozell, Wilson, Griffith. Title, Amend 2022 Budget Public Health for Vaccine Coolers.
Mr. Chairman, moving resolution number 111.
Moved by Supervisor O'Brien. Seconds, please. Supervisor Nolan, Supervisor Hanky, Supervisor Clary, Supervisor Ferguson, Supervisor Wilson, Supervisor Griffith. I believe that's it. Is there any discussion? Hearing none or seeing none, all in favor, signal saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 112 by Supervisors Campbell, O'Brien, Half, Hicks, Fedler, Skelly, Hogan, Clary, Rozell, Wilson, Griffith. Title, Amend 2021 Budget for youth placed in Office of Children and Family Services custody.
Mr. Chairman, moving resolution number 112.
Number 112 has been moved by Supervisor O'Brien. Do we have seconds? Supervisor Hanky, Supervisor Nolan, Supervisor Clary, Supervisor Ferguson, Supervisor Griffith. Is there any discussion? All in favor, signal saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 113 by Supervisors Campbell, O'Brien, Half, Hicks, Fedler, Skelly, Hogan, Clary, Rozell, Wilson, Griffith. Title, Amend County Road Fund 2022 Budget for Lake Champlain Basin Program Grant.
Mr. Chairman, moving resolution number 113.
Moved by Supervisor O'Brien. Do we have seconds? Supervisor Hanky, Supervisor Ferguson, Supervisor Nolan, Supervisor Clary, Supervisor Griffith, Supervisor Fedler, Supervisor Rozell.
Mr. Chairman.
Supervisor Skelly, yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I need to propose an amendment to this resolution, 113,
Okay.
to appropriate $7,000 of the $132,000 as contractual.
Okay, we have a amendment proposed by Supervisor O'Brien. Do we have any seconds? Supervisor Hanky, Supervisor Ferguson, Supervisor Wilson, Supervisor Clary, Supervisor Rozell, Supervisor Fedler. Okay, discussion on the amendment, please. Yes, sir.
What is why is it contractual? I guess I'm just trying to understand it.
Dave. Sally, you want to explain?
Chairman, I apologize for the delay, but after committee, I found out that the actual equipment was $125,000, and the administration for the grant that was being paid to the Lake Champlain Regional Planning Board was $7,000, and that's a contractual line item, not an equipment line item. So that was my delay in getting that information, so I apologize for that, but that's why the split.
Okay, thank you. Answer your question, Supervisor? Okay. Any other questions or discussions? So all in favor of the amendment, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Now we'll go back to the original motion. We had a motion, we had a second discussion on that, on the motion, the original motion. Supervisor Hanky.
I'm just glad to see that kind of grants coming into DPW. That represents some pretty good work.
Yep, absolutely. Helps the cause. Any further discussion?
Dana.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Oh, I'm sorry, we're waving the flag here. Sorry, Dana. Sorry, partner. Yep.
I researched what a brine maker looks like and is, and I found one for $6,000 that the tank it makes is 450 gallons. I assume this one would be quite a bit larger, but I think the only thing larger is the tankage, not the machinery. It's almost like a jacuzzi jet. That's how it mixes it, is with jets. So I'm wondering, Dave or somebody, can somebody send me a link as to what this thing actually looks like for $132,000 if I think the machinery is probably the same for $6,000? I just want to see what this thing looks like, what we're going to get for $132,000.
Yes, Deb, I got Deb Donahue here at the meeting. Aiken, she's gonna walk up and address that, Dana.
Just to be clear, the grant is for $132,000, and we have done a lot of research on what we want for our production of brine. So we feel we've picked the best one. I don't, right off the top of my head, know what it costs right now, but I will send a link out to everyone to the one that we chose.
Thank you.
Does that help you? Quick, okay. Very good. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 114 by Supervisors Campbell, O'Brien, Half, Hicks, Feather, Skelly, Hogan, Clary, Roselle, Wilson, Griffith title, amend 2022 County Road Fund budget to carry over unspent water quality improvement grant, MS4.
Mr. Chairman, moving resolution number 114.
Moved by Supervisor O'Brien. Do we have any seconds? Second. Supervisor Wilson, Supervisor Nolan, Supervisor Henke, Supervisor Clary, Supervisor Ferguson, Supervisor Fedler, Supervisor Roselle, Supervisor Skelly. Is there any discussion? All in favor, signal saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 115 by Supervisor Clary, title amend 2022 budget, public health for pharmacy grade vaccine freezer.
Mr. Chairman, moving resolution number 115.
Moved by Supervisor Clary. Do we have any seconds? Supervisor Nolan, Supervisor Henke, Supervisor Ferguson, Supervisor Wilson, Supervisor Fedler. Is there any discussion? All in favor, signal saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 116 by Supervisor Skelly, title to award bid 2021-25, sewer district number 2 for unit price items, Washington County Sewer District concrete improvements.
Moving resolution number 116.
Moved by Supervisor Skelly. Are there any seconds? Second. Supervisor Nolan, Supervisor Wilson, Supervisor Henke, Supervisor Clary, Supervisor Ferguson, Supervisor Fedler, Supervisor Fisher. Did I miss anyone? Is there any discussion? All in favor, signal. Dan, I'm sorry.
I know that if there's a board of commissioners, do they look at this and approve it first before us, or is this, they turn it over to us to handle all this? Now just, what's the proper procedure?
Joe, is one of your last duties, would you like to mention?
Yeah.
Roger could do it, please.
Well, we were made aware of it.
So Dan, this was a two-part bid. We awarded it back last year. Unfortunately, when they did half of it lump sum, half of it unit price. And when the tally sheet came over to me, it only came over with the lump sum numbers, it didn't come over with the unit price numbers. So that when they were putting the financing together and they were asking for $3.1 million, EFC said, how come you've only got awarded $2 million and some change? What happened to the other $400,000? What happened was the lump sum numbers never got awarded. So the project's was reviewed sometime last year and approved. We just didn't catch up with the second part of the bid. It wasn't a clerical error mistake. It never got included in there. This is just the additional full amount of the project so that they can get their financing from the EFC to go ahead.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? All in favor, signal saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried. That was the supervisor's comments. Do we have any supervisor comments? We'll start here with the Supervisor Griffith.
Okay, in 2 weeks we have, this is the first of our time. We're doing a small business toolkit forum. It's going to be held in the town of Salem. This has been myself and Supervisor Clare have been organizing with the Warren Washington County IDA, And you might have received an invitation in your mailbox today, or you will, from Black Dog in regards to this. So what this event is, it's free to our business operators. This is an opportunity for them to learn more about, the county organizations, state organizations, and other vendors that can help them to be able to build their toolbox for businesses. So it'll start 1 p.m. We'll be at the Central House in Salem. We'll do a little light bites and networking, and then at 2 o'clock we get into a little vendor showcase where vendors can meet with other like organizations such as the IDA or the LDC. And then at 3 p.m. we'll have a panel discussion at the Fort Salem Theater. And then at that 4:30 we'll wrap it up over at Jacko's Corner. It's an opportunity for our small businesses to really gain some information about these organizations that we have in our county to be able to promote businesses. It's free to the public. It's free to the business operators. There's a registration Facebook that just came out today. It got posted this morning, and if you can share it around, that'd be great. And if you have any businesses in your community that's looking for other opportunities for funding and resources like that, it'd be great for them to come and take a look and get connected with some of these other organizations. Anything you want to add to?
I want to thank Dave O'Brien and everyone through the different organizations for agreeing to be part of this. It's a different picture today than it was 5 years ago, and a lot of that goes to Dave O'Brien. So, thank you.
Okay. Sue, could you take, under the comments, could you just take a second and comment on the RAM program that's going to be taking place? The RAM, for the...
Yes.
The welfare things?
I'll be happy to. The RAM is going to be in Washington County Fair like it was last year. That is a random access medical fair. And last year was the first year. And so it was amazing to me that people would actually sleep out in the Washington County Fairgrounds so that they could get health care. They had dental tents set up in one of the buildings. There must have been 24 different plastic-like offices, and they were all full, and there was a waiting line, and people were getting dental care. My job was to help set up eyeglasses, because they could go and have their eyes checked. They could get lenses done and completed, the prescriptions filled. They could go home with a pair of eyeglasses. Sometimes that was the first time they'd ever had their eyes checked. It was certainly the first time any of them had had dental care or eyeglasses. And that was a first-time event. So a lot of volunteers are needed. It's an incredible 2 days that they offer, and I encourage everyone to come on down and join into the possibilities and encourage your communities to take part in it. It's quite an opportunity for you. Better health care.
Thanks, Sue. And there are many, many healthcare professionals, from doctors on down to, just basic medics that help them out with different things down there. It's all done on a volunteer basis by the medical professionals. So, any help that they could get down there to administer this thing and do some of the things like directing traffic or help with some of the administrative stuff and forms and checking people in, certainly would be welcome. Thank you, Sue, for sharing that. Supervisor comments. Do we have anyone else? So I'll go Supervisor Henke, and we'll come right on down the line.
Now, first, a couple of sad notes. We lost a very venerable town citizen. Sybil Ketchum was 96 years old. Sybil was in everything from Eastern Star to Daughters of the American Revolution, and every community event that seemed to happen, Sybil was involved in. But more importantly than that, when you drove into the village of Argyle, you saw the sign for pies. Sybil was the pie maker, and people came from several different states to get Sybil's pies and things. So we're missing Sybil quite a lot. The second one is a very good friend of mine we lost, a fellow named Walt Caproot. Walt was a Vietnam vet, very, very involved in the American Legion over there. Walt, Gary Gilchrist together kind of spearheaded the Memorial Day parades past umpteen years. They also have forced me to speak at each one of them, so I probably shouldn't applaud him for that. But Walt came back from the war and became immediately, instantly involved in the community. And I won't try and list off all the various and sundry different things he did, but one of the biggies was helping them transition from real football to the fake sport of soccer. They have to do now. Walt was very involved with the soccer teams and sent some of his kids to states and everything. I for one, am really going to miss Walt. All right, try to be a little happier. Argyle is apparently going to do Thistle Day again. We did Thistle Day last year just to kind of shake off the COVID stink and have fun, and everybody thought it was such a wonderful thing that we're going to have a Thistle Day again on September 17th. So the theme this year for the parade is going to be antique farm equipment. Try and get what I really want is one of the restored old manure spreaders drawn by oxen to have the town board ride in, but I'm not sure if the board can buy in with that. Anyway, it's in its infancy. We'll do fireworks for sure and the whole business like we did last year, so put that on your calendar. And finally, we had a tremendous rush of proclamations and awards and things this time, so I didn't try to add to it, but there is an award given for the Agriculture in the Classroom Teacher of the Year in New York State, and it was awarded to an Argyle teacher, Jen Bailey. And then we just recently heard that she also won the National Ag in the Classroom Teacher of the Year, which is a pretty big deal. So we kind of put Argyle on the map for that reason too. So next month I'll, be bringing forth a proclamation to have Sam do for Jen. It's quite an honor. That's a really big deal. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Supervisor Shaw?
Yes, I'm a little confused. After Michael gave that presentation on the lighting for the Shushan Bridge, when the town of Easton and the town of Greenwich had the main bridge put in by Hollingsworth and Vos, I requested, the town requested, and the mill requested to have lighting. And basically, we were advised that that's not something the county does. We don't have a budget line item for lighting for bridges, and it would start something new. Now I hear today, and for the first time, and I've said on Public Works for so long, and I think your town now does not support this, is that correct, Jay?
Our town hasn't had any discussion or vote on it. Sue's.
Oh, Sue's town, I'm sorry. I'm confused how it got to this and how the lighting got on there, and I wasn't aware of it. Okay. And there was existing lighting on the old bridge that was removed.
Okay.
In our town.
Deb's on her way up to explain.
Jim was right, I should have stayed closer.
That'll come. Gotta get your step and say, no, let's try it.
Well, I wasn't here for the design of the County Route 113 bridge. I was here for the design of the Shushan Bridge. And when we had our public meeting, there was a request for lighting, and it was going through the Shushan Lighting District. It wasn't going through the county. The county was not administering the lighting on the bridge.
So the towns would be paying for the lighting?
Specifically the Shushan Lighting District, yes.
That's through the town, the Shushan
Yes.
Lighting District. Okay, that makes sense why it would be paid that way. Because the county wouldn't do it for our bridge, and I was just curious how this got come about. That's fine. Do the taxpayers know that in that lighting district, they're gonna be paying for that?
It was at the public meeting, and it was requested then. So anyone who went to the public meeting and anything that went out after that, yes. Yep.
I think Supervisor Skelly would like to respond to that.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, since, Salem has voted not to turn the electricity on for the lights on the bridge now, and they're the ones in control, we will probably bring this up at DPW committee and have the discussion and look at what it takes to change the contract if that's what the committee decides.
Okay. Very good.
Okay.
Okay.
Should I stay here?
Thank you, Supervisor Skelly.
Thank you.
Dave, I think you were next.
Was. So approximately 10 years ago, Champlain Hudson Power Express came to us about their great idea for transmission line, and have been around so long, working through this and working through the permitting process with all environmental groups, the states, local, and county governments, and all the
state, agencies also. Yesterday, at the Public Service Commission meeting, we got their final approval and sign-off on proceedings. They will be starting construction in Putnam in July. So, and if you noticed in the paper, I think it was this morning, they had a public notice on there. But I think it's important to note that Washington County municipalities, some of the municipalities and school districts and the county will be benefiting to the tune of $237 million over the course of 30 years. As a quick note, that is almost twice, if not more, of the nearest county who's getting benefits from this. So I think that this is going to be a real shot in the arm for local municipalities, for the county, but most importantly for local school benefits. Districts, there are 5 school districts involved in that. So I think there's a real benefit, and I think that it's really remarkable that this process has gone through and benefiting Washington County. So just to note, I listened to all 2.5 hours of the public service discussion yesterday, and it was really educational about the depth that some of the commissioners took their research into this process. No.
So Dave, I'd like to thank you for that, and I'd also like to thank the members of the negotiating committee that put the contract together for Washington County, those towns in Washington County, because they did a super job, as witnessed by where we came and the amount of money that was given to the communities. So I want to thank all of them because they put a lot of time and effort into it, so thank you guys. Appreciate it all.
One other note is that we're one of the only counties available to get post-benefit packages for schools and municipalities in the county, which helps in the tax cap calculations and the utilization of the money.
Yep. That's a good point. Like I said, the negotiating team did a great job on this, so thanks everyone who was involved in negotiations on this. Is there any other supervisor comments?
Yes.
Supervisor Happ.
At the waiver.
I got you.
Today is Good Friday. The Hartford Fish and Game Club, located on State Route 196, is having a takeout fish fry dinner from 2:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. And it's perch and crappie that was caught this winter. Another question I have about the Shushan Bridge, Dan said that the old bridge had some lighting, but I wasn't aware that any county bridge has illumination. Do any bridges have any illumination now?
Yep. No. Shaking her head, no.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Supervisor Shaw, you're welcome.
Yes, I should have wrapped up my whole comment on the lighting on the
That's okay.
Hollingsworth and Boats Bridge. There was lighting on that bridge when it was put in 1914. The lighting hasn't been on that bridge in 30 years. But there was lighting at one time back in the 20s and 30s. And I don't know who paid for the lighting back then. It most likely was the mills. But I apologize for that confusion, David.
I think there's lighting up there. There's going.
In the Truthfield Bridge.
Oh, there is lighting.
Did the county pay?
The village of.
No, the town pays the
Yeah.
lighting stuff.
Because when I asked for it on our bridge, the county was not paying for any lighting. It had not paid for any lighting. So I thought that if this occurred, it would have to come through the county to approve that lighting. Since I hadn't heard of it, I was questioning it.
There was, I'm told, and I haven't seen pictures of this, but there was lighting on the Shushan covered bridge when it was a covered bridge. There was lighting on the ends and there was lighting inside of it. But when they replaced it as the steel deck bridge, it's no longer lit. So there's no lighting that the county pays for on any bridge, but there is lighting on a couple of bridges.
Is that, you don't say that? No, any other questions? Okay. Very good. Is there any other supervisors' comments?
Yeah.
Well, Paul, there you are. Thank you.
Sadly, we've lost an iconic person in our community. It would be Patricia LeClaire. She was town clerk for many, many years. more than 20 years. And at 88 years old, she has passed on. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Is there any other supervisors' comments? Going once, going twice, going 3 times? I'd like to wish everybody a safe and happy Easter, and we are adjourned. Thank you.